Hello, friends. Happy Friday. I have not been on here in forever, and I apologize for that. And I also apologize that this is like ridiculously short notice. I literally said, I'm coming on. But I was busy working with the paper pumpkin, and I had an idea. And so I thought I should just come on and share it as opposed to tell you about it later. So hopefully some of you will find me, and I'm just trying to find myself. Oh my God, how many times do we go through this, right? When I come on here. Oh my God, it's like so ridiculous. Here we go. Okay, but I want to be able to see your comments. So in order to do that, I have to see myself. Oh my gosh. Yep, I am. Okay, here we go. Hello, Alex. Did you get your paper pumpkin? I can't believe how fast it came. This was like the fastest paper pumpkin ever. So I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I get a paper pumpkin kit and I make like the cards. I make one of each and then I kind of tuck it away and I pull it back out when I need it. Sometimes like this kit, I get it and I'm like super jazzed and I know I'm going to make like all 9 cards. And that's gonna be it. We're gonna be done. So I am making a card for someone in my book club and it's their 40th birthday. So we're celebrating. So when this one came, which to me looks like a bookshelf, I was like, yes, this is going to be perfect. But it's a really special birthday. So I want to jazz it up a little. So I was originally just going to use the paper pumpkin as it was. It's beautiful. And you can see I already stamped inside. So I've already been playing with this extra stamp set, the big happy. And then I just took the little birthday and did it 3 times. So I thought that was like a cute idea for your inside or for alternates. I've chose to use the Orchid Oasis. Like I was working with some of the colors they said were complementary or that, were also in the kit. So this is the Orchid Oasis and then the Fresh Freesia. And then here's the front of the card as it's meant to be. And I did the You Deserve the Best, but I did it also in the Orchid Oasis instead of Petal Pink. But like I said, I kind of want to jazz this up. So I thought since I'm going to jazz it up, I would come on and do that with you. So if you look at your instructions, they show another card where they use the deckled rectangles and they kind of layer it inside of each other. And I thought that was really neat. So I'm actually going to cut the card in half and we're still going to use both parts of it, but we're going to layer it on another piece of cardstock. So this is always an option, right? So I'm still really using the pieces. I'm just kind of splitting them up. Okay, so here's our front. What I plan to do is take my deckled rectangle dies. So I'm going to do that one to cut that out. And then I'm going to do this next one in this gold paper that we have from the annual catalog, and typically papers don't carry over. I mean, every once in a while these fancy ones do, but I'm willing to take the risk, and so it's this distressed gold. So I'm going to show you, but I don't want to waste all of this, obviously, so I'm going to cut this twice. So I'm going to cut this, and then I'm going to cut this one like this. Does that make sense? Actually, I might have to use one slightly smaller. So let's do this guy first. I don't want to bring the big shot into the screen though, so I'm going to do it off to the side. You're not going to see me big shotting, but I think you all know what it means to use your big shot or your Stampin' Cut and Emboss. It's just easier to say big shot. Okay, hopefully this turns out. Otherwise, I'll be sad. I mean, it won't be the end of the world because obviously we have more of these. Okay, so we don't need that. I don't need this anymore. So now I'm going to take the one smaller and this big guy, and I am going to layer it over top. And I'm going to cut this out now. Okay. hopefully you see where I'm going with this. Hopefully it's gonna work. It's gonna be really noisy when I do this because I can't angle it. So hopefully you all know when you cut through with rectangles, you should cut through on an angle. But because of the way I did my paper, I can't. All right, so we're gonna put this aside, right? We don't wanna waste that. And then I'm going to go like this. Okay. This I'm just gonna cut to our, you know, if you're doing an inside of a card and you cut it to be 4, instead of 4 1/4, you cut it to be 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm gonna cut 1/8 off each, just so my greeting stays roughly centered. So there's my 4, and then right now it's 5 1/2, and I want it to be 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut that down. And then this is going to go inside, whatever color, whoops, cardstock I decide to use. I haven't really decided on that, so maybe you guys can help me. I'm zipping along at a breakneck pace because at any moment my husband's gonna show up and he's gonna be like, what's going on? Why aren't you up here? We should be having dinner, but we're barbecuing, or he's barbecuing, so I feel like I have a tiny little bit of time. All right, so that's gonna be our front. That's gonna go on the inside. I feel like we could even add some ribbon, but let's kind of just go with, sorry, I'm just finding my instructions. I mean, aren't these adorable? I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to make the alternates too. They look really pretty. Okay, so we're just talking about glue dots. The only thing that is dimensional is this guy. Okay. I don't know where my paper pumpkin dimensionals are at the moment. They're hidden, so I'm gonna use my own dimensionals. That's fine, I do it all the time. And there we go. I am going to, or I would, if I could find it, use the glue dots, but I will just use some other paper pumpkin glue dots because I've always got those everywhere, or I usually do. Of course, I can't find any at the moment. Oh, here we go. When I'm actually making paper pumpkins, I don't always use the glue dots. I'm sure you guys are the same, right? You use whatever adhesive you have because it's often quicker. But when we have elements like this, then I do find it helpful to just use the glue dots. And I often look at where they tell you to put them because, you know, they've already figured it out. Why would I recreate what they've already figured out? So they said to put one there, and they've got one on each of these bigger ones. And then like, okay, so if you don't have a take a pick tool, this is what it is amazing for, in addition to embellishments, of course, but is glue dots. And so again, if you don't use all your glue dots for paper pumpkin, I hope that you save them for other projects where they come in handy for, you know, tiny little things. And they're always great for sticking on bows if you don't have a roll of the mini glue dots. Sequins as well, those types of things. Okay, they put one on this guy. And then they put one, this one's a little bit harder because these guys get so narrow. Okay, and then the pot also has glue dots. So I'm not gonna take any of these glue dots off yet because I'm still trying to figure out if we're going to add something else. ribbon, etc. Like I said, more so not because I feel like it's missing from this card, but because this card I know that I am giving as a, you know, it's a big deal. It's a big birthday, 40th birthday. So we want it to have, you know, extra bits of fancy. This guy's over here though, so we got to make sure our stems are there. And then this guy is going to kind of come off of there like comme ça. Okay, so what I want to know from you guys is, do you think we should just put this back on a white card? Should we put it on Fresh Freesia? Should we put it on Orchid Oasis? Should we put it on like that pale color, which would be mint maybe? They don't say there's mint in this. Should we put it on Crumb Cake, which is what they have done with one of their alternates? So I would love to know what you think as a card base color. And then I'm trying to think. I don't really think it actually needs any ribbon. Orchid. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Of course, I don't happen to have a card base already ready. That's always the best, isn't it? When you already have a card base just on the ready. Oh, you know what I might have? Hang tight. Although it might not look, ooh. I have this. Let's use this. These are these, like the tea. Those card bases. Okay, so that's what it would look like on the orchid. And then that's kind of nice actually because it's already got that little bit of texture to it. So what do you think about that? That's a good idea, Alex. So now the inside of this card is already white. So I could save this for something else because I can just re-stamp inside. Okay, what do you guys think? Okay, so perfect. And then I will also have a fancy envelope. Oh, I'm excited. Although there's the fancy envelope with the paper pumpkin, but I can save that. Okay, so I'm not gonna spend any time gluing this down. That's just time I don't have right now, but I just wanted to show you guys how I was gonna take this and then just kind of jazz it up. And then there are no embellishments in this kit because there's the foil. But what we could do, if we wanted, is we have these in color ones, right? So we have the Orchid Oasis in here. So we could use some of those, or we have these guys with the polished pink, which might be a nice way to kind of bring out a little bit of the pink. So, yeah. I will probably do one or the other. We'll see when I get to it. Okay, so yeah, boom, jumped on. I just wanted to show you a way you could jazz this up. You could have even just cut that out with scissors and then just cut another rectangle. So if you don't have dies, you don't need to have dies. You could just do layering rectangles if you wanted to just sort of pop this up and make it look a little bit fancier. And then quite honestly, you could just put it back on any kind of cardstock. So this is what I had done for the inside. I'm just gonna stamp that again on the inside of this card, and I am going to save this for something else. And yeah, so there we are. Okay, I know I haven't been on, but I wanted to pop on. I do really like this kit. I'm not gonna lie to you though. So I've already done like a bit of the stamping. So this one, I'm gonna do a Mother's Day card with that other one. This guy here, I'm not a huge fan of this piece. I'm not gonna lie. This is the only one piece that's kind of like, that's a weird color combo to me. But the alternate here is really pretty on this card base with blending brushes. So what I think I might actually do is just turn that over and use some blending brushes and then still use that piece. But I'm not really loving that sort of look. It kind of, to me, seems a bit garish. Is that the right word? with these lovely die cuts that are sort of, there's this beautiful gold and this nice pale purple and whatever color this is meant to be. Looks like mint to me, but it doesn't say there's any mint in this kit. It keeps referring to garden green and shaded spruce. But yeah, I just think that's a bit much. So I'm going to change it up. I will be sure to put a photo of how I change it and let you know what I ended up doing. And the third one I like as is, so I will just make this one. I think is really pretty. I will probably just make that one 3 times as Mother's Day cards because I often have people asking me for Mother's Day cards. So I think that one's really pretty. And yeah, okay, so have a good weekend. I'm going to keep playing with this. I will show you any alternates if I make them. Or if you're one of my subscribers, maybe you're going to get one of them as my thank you. And don't forget, my March host code is up there. Anyone who uses it, you're always entered into the draw. We are going to be coming into finding out the color refresh, more information on the 29th of March. So when I have that information, I'll put that out there. But lots of colors are already on low inventory. So if you know there's a color you love, make sure you stock up just in case. And yeah, this catalog lasts, both catalogs last until the end of April. Okay, all right, have a good Friday.